Good day everyone. Today, I will be discussing about laws of learning and other laws of learning with pedagogical relevance. So, let us define first the law of learning. The laws of learning are principles that describe how individuals acquire knowledge and skills. These laws provide valuable insights into the learning process and can be applied by the educators to optimize teaching and learning experiences. One of the prominent figures in the study of laws of learning is Edward Thorndike. So, who is Edward Thorndike? Edward Thorndike was born on August 31, 1874, in Williamsburg, Massachusetts, and died on August 9, 1949, at the age of 74. He was an influential American psychologist who made significant contribution to the field of educational psychology and the study of learning. He is often referred as the father of modern educational psychology. Edward Thorndike propounded the three first primary laws of learning. First is the readiness, second is exercise, and third is effect. Let's discuss the law of readiness. Thorndike believed that learning is more effective when the learner is ready and motivated to learn. It emphasizes that the importance of creating a conducive learning environment and ensuring that learners are mentally and emotionally prepared to engage in the learning process. For example, let's consider two students, Ria and Camille. Ria always go to school prepared. She always participates in class discussions. She gets energetic and enthusiastic in preparing a task. As a result, she gets commendable grades. On the other hand, Camille goes to school unprepared with an empty stomach. She is always sleeping in the class, and whenever her teacher asks her to recite, she is always unprepared, and she is unmotivated, and she doesn't participate in class discussion. So, as a future educators, I can enhance the law of readiness by establishing clear learning objectives, providing relevant and meaningful learning materials, and addressing learners' individual needs and interests. So, in overall, the law of readiness highlights the significance of preparing students mentally and emotionally of learning. Let's go to the law of exercise. The law of exercise, it states that the things that are most often repeated are the best remembered. It is the basis of drill and practice and learning. For example, let's have our dance exercise. In the first day, on the second day, on the third day, as a result of performing dance exercise every day, it shows that mastery and confidence. There are two aspects of law of exercise, the law of use and the law of disuse. When we say the law of use, it states that learning is strengthened when we repeatedly practice or try something, meaning that the more we use or the more we practice a skill or knowledge, the more we become at it. Parehas ang i-provide yung example kanina about dance exercise. Kung kada adlaw ta mag-practice og dance exercise, the more po ta makahibaw sa stepping. So ingana ang pasabot sa the law of use. On the other hand, the law of disuse states that learning is weakened when we stop practicing or using it. If we don't use or practice what we have learned for a long time, we may forget it. So, moto ang duha ka aspect sa the law of exercise. Una is the law of use and the law of disuse. Overall, the law of exercise means that practice makes perfect. When it comes to learning, the more we practice something, the better we become at it. This applies to various learning situations, including in school. Teacher can help students learn and practice a subject by giving them opportunities to practice and repeat what they have learned. This can involve doing exercises, drills, simulations, and hands-on activities. So by providing students with plenty of practice and reinforcement, teacher can help them strengthen their understanding and become more skilled in the subject. So, this law is all about the idea that practice and repetitions are the key to improving learning and mastery. Let's move on the law of effect. Thorndike believed that the consequences of our actions have a significant impact on our learning and behavior. It suggests that when we experience positive consequences after performing a behavior, we are more likely to repeat the behavior in the future. On the other hand, when we experience negative consequences, we are less likely to repeat the behavior. For example, imagine a student named Sarah who studies hard and performs well on her exam. As a result, she received praise from her teachers because she has the highest score in the class, and she gets a good grade. These positive consequences reinforce Sarah learning and increase the likelihood that she will continue studying and performing well in the class or in the future. Now, let's consider another student's name, John. John who disrupts the class and doesn't complete his assignment. As a result of his consequences of his actions, he receives reprimands from his teachers, he gets lower grades, and negative feedback from his peers. So these negative consequences discourage John's learning and decrease the likelihood that he will repeat his behavior. As a future educator, I can utilize the law of effect to create a positive learning environment. By providing positive reinforcement such as praise and rewards, I can encourage desired behaviors and motivates the students. This can include maghatag ko nila mga sticker or mga small rewards ug kinsa tong mopass og activity on time or katong mo participate actively in the class. And additionally, magamit pod ko og mga corrective feedbacks and consequences to address the undesirable behaviors and to promote learning from mistakes. By implementing consequences, such as giving them the extra assignment, I can discourage negative behaviors and encourage students to make better choices. Remember that creating a supportive and engaging learning environment can greatly enhance your students' educational experiences. So those are the three primary laws of learning propounded by Edward Lee Thorndike. So now, let's proceed to the secondary laws of learning. The law of primacy, the law of recency, and the law of intensity. First is we have the law of primacy. It states that the first thing you learn or experiences has a big impact on how you think and behave later on. It means that the first expression or experiences you have with something is really important and can shape your future actions. For example, first time nimo nakaon og cake and you really like it. So, kana nga positive experiences nimo will make you more likely to eat the food again in the future. And on the other hand, if you try a new food and it tastes really bad, it's probably that you don't eat it again. This law applies to many areas of life like learning in school or forming opinions about people or things. It reminds us that the first experiences we have are powerful and have a lasting impact on our thoughts and actions. So let's proceed to the law of recency. Thorndike believes that the most recent informations or experiences we have are the ones that are most likely to be remembered and have the strongest influence on our behavior. So this means that the things we learn or experience most recently tends to stick in our minds and have a bigger impact on how we think and act compared to the older experiences. The best example of this is that ug natay exam. If we review the material right before test, the information is more likely to be fresh in our minds and easier to recall during the exam. And on the other hand, if we study the material a week before the test and we don't review it again, we might have a harder time to remember the details. So, the slows is all about the importance of paying attention to recent informations and experiences when trying to remember or to make decisions. It suggests that our most recent encounters have a stronger influence on our thoughts and actions compared to the older memories or experiences. So the last secondary laws of learning is the law of intensity. The law of intensity states that the level of emotional arousal or intensity connected to learning experiences affect the strength of learning. This means that when we have emotionally charged or significant experiences, they tend to be more memorable and impactful, leading to better learning outcomes. So those are the three secondary laws of learning, which are the law of primacy, the law of intensity, and the law of recency. We have other subordinate laws of learning. First is the law of multiple response. Second is the law of set attitude. Third is the law of analogy and assimilation. Next is the law of associative shifting. And the last is the prepotency of elements. First, we have law of multiple response. It is confronted with a new situations, the learner responds in a variety of ways, arriving at the correct response. This involves trial and error, where the individual experiments with different methods rather than sticking to one approach. Second is the law of set attitude. Learning is guided by a total set or attitude of the learner, which determines not only what the learner will do, but what will satisfy him or her. If a learner is motivated and has a positive attitude toward a task, they are more likely to perform well. Next is the law of analogy and assimilations. This law suggests that when learning a new situations, individual tends to draw on the past experiences or knowledge. They look for similarities between the current situations and past situations and use common elements to understand and adapt to the new situation. Then we have the law of associative shifting. According to this law, we may get response of which learning is capable associated with any other response to which he is sensitive. And last, we have prepotency elements. According to this law, the learner reacts selectively to the important in the situations and neglect the other feature or elements which may be irrelevant. So, it means that the learners tend to pay attention to the key informations or concepts that are essential for understanding and ignore the less important details. This selective focus on important elements helps in efficient learning and comprehension. So, in summary, by understanding and addressing these laws, educators can create an optimal learning environment and promote effective learning experiences for students.